Hello and welcome to Little Scientists. This is a monthly make and take craft kit where we learn all about the world around us through some fun science experiments. My name is Miss Lindsay. I'm one of the youth and teen librarians here at the Winnetka Northfield Public Library District, and today we're going to make a balance buddy. This is a really great way to learn all about gravity and balance through some really simple ingredients. And these are all found in the kit that you've hopefully either picked up at the Winnetka Library, outside in our purple make and take bin, or inside. Just ask the person at the youth desk. So in your kit, you'll find a cork, some clay, a couple of toothpicks. You're only going to need one, but we did send you some extras, some skewers, and just for fun, some googly eyes. You don't need those. They're just a fun addition. So first, we have to prep the cork. This is going to be the body of our balance buddy. So putting your long way up on the table, go ahead and find the center of your cork and mark it with a dot. It does help to use a ruler for this. That way you can get it really, really precise. The more precise your measurements are, the more fun you're going to be able to have with your balance buddy. So here's the center. I've gone ahead and drawn a dot, and I'm going to do the same thing on the other round end of the cork. So I've got a dot here now and a dot here. Next, I'm going to lay it long ways down on the table and find the center of that and draw a dot there. Now, this last dot is where it gets a little bit tricky. Don't actually do this, but if you were going to insert a toothpick straight through your cork, through the dot that you just drew, where would it come out on the other side? That's where you want to draw your other dot. So it might help to kind of hold your toothpick up to see where it comes around. You can use your ruler to figure out exactly how far you should draw it based on how far it goes around. So mine are here and here. That looks about right. And again, the more precise, the better. So I do recommend that you measure as much as you can. Once you've got all your dots precisely drawn, we'll move on to putting things into the cork. We'll start with the skewer. So using one of the holes you drew on the long side, take your skewer and you want to insert the pointed side, not straight in like this and not up and down like this, right in the middle, like that. And insert that going up. There we go, just like that. Now you'll take your other skewer and do the same thing on the other side. If it helps, you can hold this kind of parallel to the table. That means exactly in line with the table if you were to put it down. And then make sure that this cork, the skewer, comes kind of up and down like that. So you're creating the side of a square. That shows that you've done it evenly and on a good angle. I'm gonna go ahead and do that. Use the table for leverage. So a good way to tell if you've done this right is if you go ahead and hold the cork like this, a straight line, it should look like the two angled skewers actually create a straight line. It's a really cool optical illusion, and it shows you you're doing something right. So I've got my two skewers. It sometimes does help to have a grown-up make sure that they're nice and tight. They don't have to be too far in, but if you hit them with your finger very gently, they shouldn't move. Next is our toothpick. So we drew dots on both sides. We're only going to need one of them. If you hold your cork and your skewer as if it's antenna or a V shape, you're going to go ahead, put that on the table, and insert the toothpick into the dot you drew in what is now the top of the cork. So now it should look like it's got arms going like this and a head going like this, like that. There we go. And make sure that's on a nice straight angle going in. And again, might help to have a parent help. You don't want to poke yourself. Now we've got everything ready in our cork. The next thing is our clay. So you've got modeling clay. I do recommend you're a little careful with it. It shouldn't stick to anything but itself, but don't test that out. Just be very, very careful and keep it on the table very clean. So you've got a bag of clay. You don't actually need that much of it. So what you'll want to do is cut it out of the bag. That's what you need your scissors for. And then cut it or tear it into 6 even pieces. I recommend starting by tearing it in half and then tearing those halves into 3 even pieces. So these are my 6th. They look like that. So if I roll them into a little ball, they should be even and not much bigger than a large marble or so. It's kind of the size we're going for. And again, you want them to be as even as possible. So I actually don't think mine are totally even. I'm going to take a little bit out of one, put it on the other, roll them up all nice. And voila, I've got 2 round marble-sized pieces of clay. And again, the more even these are, the better. So I'm going to take this first ball. I'm going to take my balance buddy. And on the edge of my skewer, this flat edge here, I'm going to go ahead and push it on until I feel that it's at the bottom. You don't want it to poke all the way through. You don't want that. You want it to be right at the bottom there. I'm just going to poke. There we go. Cover that up again. So you want it to be right at the bottom. You want it to be nice and even, nice and round. You want to pinch it around the skewer so it doesn't move. And you're going to do the same thing on the other side. Take your ball of clay. Make sure this is nice and round here. There we go. Insert that on. Pinch it around. Make sure it doesn't come through the bottom. Nice and even. There we go. We've got 2 fairly even clay balls on the edge of our skewers. So technically at this stage, your balance buddy is done. However, you can decorate him if you want. We did send you with some googly eyes. We do recommend using glue with those. They don't stick very well on their own, but anything that you want to add, so long as it doesn't weigh down your balance buddy. So if you are going to decorate it, we recommend waiting till the clay is dry. That way you won't dent it or make it uneven. And then you can draw on it with markers or crayons. You can add your googly eyes, anything that doesn't add a lot of extra uneven weight. So I'm actually going to demo how it works while it's totally plain so you can see. So here we go. We've got our balance buddy right here. Let me just make sure everything is set up right. There we go. Looks like everything is nice and even. So first, you want to make sure you don't have any big jewelry on your hands, no rings, no watches. I took my watch off for this. And you're going to put your hand up and just use your pointer finger. So you can kind of put it outwards like that. Balance this on the tip of your pointer finger. And when you're comfortable, let go. Even without actually moving it, it should pretty much balance. If it doesn't balance, then you can try and kind of remeasure where the corks are and where the skewers are and see if you can get them a little more even. Don't do that too much. You don't want to take too much out of the cork body, but even if it tilts a little bit, so mine's not completely centered because as you can see, it's actually tilting towards me a little bit. Let's see if I can turn it so you can see. There we go. So it actually tilts a little bit towards me because I didn't get it quite even. It's actually heavier on this side, so it's angling that way, but it's still balancing. So despite being a little bit imbalanced and having a weight on this side and this side, it's able to balance right here because we've created a center of gravity right here on this very tiny toothpick. Much like a dancer is able to dance on point because she balances everything on her little tippy toes, just like that. So you can see how long you can balance it. You can see if you can spin it slow or fast. Ah, it hit my hand, oh no. So you want to tuck your hand in as much as possible and then spin. There we go. And that's how a balance buddy works. So we would love to see your completed balance buddies. Go ahead and email us a photo or a video to youth@winnetcalibrary.org so we can see how well you did with this experiment. And hopefully we'll see you in the future, either picking up books, picking up a new craft, or participating in our next Little Scientists. See you next time.